Here I go. Yep, here I am. Okay, so we're back. I posted the link right there. It's in the chat of what I was talking about on the last stream. And for those of you who watched the whole thing, I'm gonna briefly go over what I was talking about before, because this is something I feel pretty strongly about, and I think it's anybody who plays with us that if we can get this sorted and this solved, I think it would just make everybody's life better. First thing I want to start off with is congratulate I'm Coolard for getting second, right, in the million, right? He's obviously super happy about getting second because he named himself that, I'm Coolard. Bad Pelican took first place for $269,800, right? Congratulations, sir. You are a better poker player than I. Oh, what did I do? Did something. There we are. Guess I got to do that. Let's see. Okay. Crap advertisement so missing. Stop. Yes. Refresh the page. Let me type it. I shouldn't be looking at the chat because it just distracts me. Refresh page. For those of you who can't hear me, refresh the page. You can't hear me, so it won't do anything. You can't hear me. Anyway, so let me get back to what we're at. Congratulations to I'm Coolard for getting second place, and Bad Pelican for getting first in the million yesterday for $260 to almost $270,000. I am Phil, CEO for America's Cardroom, right? For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm kind of a big deal. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. Let's see. It's for those of you who watched the Twitches before. I'm definitely somebody who has a sense of humor, and if you know our history a little bit, one of our biggest hurdles has been DDoS attacks. Right? DDoS attacks are a denial of service attack. Basically, what happens is a schmuck, right? Or somebody not really nice that I don't really like, and I don't want to call them that many bad names, but I do, sends massive amounts of traffic, right? And I'll show you kind of what a DDoS attack looks like from my point of view. I don't know if you can see this. So if you guys can see that big giant red group up there is all the bad traffic coming into the website, and that little tiny green line down there, that's all the people that are playing online. These last attacks were somewhere between 12 and 14 million IP addresses all coming to us at the same time, and what it does, it stops everybody from getting to their poker tables, right? And essentially stops us from running the business. And that's why we pause the tournaments and say, please stand by, and you can't hear us because you can't actually get to the tables. Frustrating, super frustrating. Xbox, Sony, governments, banks have had issues with DDoS attacks. You can't prevent them, you can't stop them. The only way you can completely prevent them is not let anybody to your website and keep your website super secret. But that kind of defeats the purpose. So all you can do is limit the amount of pain, or limit the experience until the DOS attack is over, right? That's in a nutshell. It gets way more technical than that, and you can there's a whole bunch of different DOS attacks, and that's why if you're prepared for one, then then another one comes, and it's kind of like a cat and mouse kind of thing. In 2014, in December 2014, right, we did our first $1 million Sunday, right, and suffered such DDoS attacks that we actually had to cancel and refund the $1 million Sunday. Okay. Super sad day. Rescheduled for February, ran it on February, and it ran and paid everybody out, and that's kind of how we started. Before that, we were here for 3 or 4 years and never had a DDoS attack at all, right? and then we kind of realized that, you know, we suffer from them more than I hear about anybody else. Now, that being said, maybe other people just don't make it as public as I do, right? As we do, and we would tell you, hey, look, it's a DOS attack. Hold on, right? And so that's kind of the background. Who am I, right? I'm the CEO, and I'm the guy that will never, ever pay a hacker to stop DOSing me. Just won't do it, right? There's no upside, right? Once you're a bitch, you're a bitch, right? And then it's once you give the bully lunch money, right? He's always hungry, right? So just never gonna ever do it. And it does cost money to send these DOS attacks, right? So it's the idea is they say, well, you're not going to get blood from a rock, right? So they move on to a softer target, right? Somebody who will pay. Yet we continuously get these DOS attacks. And, you know, there's always been, you know, in the background, some speculation. Is it this? Is it a competitor? Is it somebody else? And it's whoever's hot at the moment, or whoever's, you know, in the news at the moment is the theory. And the fact is, I don't even want to think about it, you know, being a competitor, because most of these guys I've sat with at conferences and stuff or whatever, and had a couple of beers with, or had dinner with, or sat down with them at poker tournaments. And it's I don't want to think about that. But that being said, I'm going to put a link right in the chat. While one of our customer service reps was on chat, our general MO when one of these guys gets on the live chat and they say, I'm going to DDoS you in 1 minute. And we say, okay, right? And we notify the proper people that, hey, we got a DDoS threat. And then we start to berate them, right? Because I don't ever want to make a nice relationship. I don't want it to be friendly. I don't want it to be anything else. I want them to get the hell out of here. And so we make fun of them, right? It's whether that's right or wrong or nothing else, whatever that is, that's what we do. So it's our customer service rep, supervisor was chatting with this guy and said, you know, hey, why don't you, you know, it's go back to your mom's basement and continue to play World of Warcraft. And he said, oh, I play something else. And then he said, and then she said, why don't you go get a real job? He said, this is my job. Another site pays me to attack you. And they didn't bring that to my attention right away. And when I saw that, I said, huh, that kind of fits, right? You know, I mean, nobody's ever made money. Why would you continuously attack? Why would you continuously do it, right? I mean, if you're not making any money doing it, you're not getting anything out of it, why would you do that? Maybe somebody is, right? And what I'm hoping is I can make this public enough that you know, people can keep their eyes open. They can see, you know, maybe we can put 2 + 2. Maybe we can connect the dots. And or it creates enough awareness that whoever is doing it feels like the risk reward isn't there anymore, and they don't do it. Either way, I don't care. I just want it to stop, right? I don't want to, and I would never stoop to doing something like that to a friend or a competitor or whoever the hell it is, right? I think it's just awful, right? I'm a poker player. I enjoy friendly competition, right? I don't enjoy, you know, cheating. And you know, it's very possible, you know, that somebody feels like, you know, if if you can't beat them, cheat them, right? You know, but it's bad for the poker community. It's bad for the industry as a whole. It's already got such so many black eyes, right? You know, it's stuff like this just isn't good for anybody. There was a couple of questions that I was looking to answer. One, mobile. I just asked if they would let me give out the mobile link, and they said, oh, not till next week. Okay, so hey, there you go. I committed you to next week. The new software that I mentioned last time. I think we're about 2 weeks away from launching WPN V2. It's slim. It doesn't have a lot of the features and everything, but you'll be able to start giving us feedback. right? And how it is. Now, remember, mobile is going to start with just jackpots and 2.0s. Remember, right? But it's moving it, sending it in iterations, and going from there. Leaderboard. A lot of people ask me, what about the leaderboard? What about the leaderboard? Are you going to screw everybody on the leaderboard? Well, I'm going to screw everybody that didn't win, because if the tournament series is over, whoever was top people in the leaderboard, they win, right? So congratulations. I don't know who you are right this second, but you will. So I saw an interesting. What about Cloudflare for DDoS protection? So being an gray market internet company, well, you can't use everybody, right? But we do have an amazing it's DOS protector. They were on the phone with us 24 hours, 7 days. It's for the last last few days, helping to mitigate the attacks. We actually, I'm gonna say we went down 4 to 6 times. One was longer than a half an hour, and the rest of them were all shorter than that. And we did suffer 26 attacks. So I mean, they're doing an amazing job, right? The fact is with poker, if you go down for 10 minutes, or you go down for 5 minutes, or you go down for 3 minutes, you may as well be down for 30 minutes, right? Everybody's just as mad. All the new players are just as angry and leave just as much, and it creates just as much havoc, right? So that's one of the reasons that I'll never ever pay, right? Is just it's got to stop. It's got to stop. But that being said, we did get some suggestions in working all these, long hours the last few days, and I'm not even kidding. It's this weekend. I spent 40 of 48 hours here at the office, working with the guys over at Zen Edge, our IT team, and everything else. Really working hard. It's to provide good service, and they did just an amazing job. That being said, I don't feel comfortable without implementing some of these changes that they've suggested, running another series. So I'm not going to cancel. I'm going to postpone the boss, right? Not only am I'm going to postpone the boss, but I'm also going to add a $1 million Sunday to the boss, right? So it'll have its own 540. We canceled so many OSS tournaments that it's unfair, that we're gonna redo the OSS, right? But I'm gonna make the million at 250 plus 15, right? So it's half the price, right? Makes it more available. It makes it available to a lot more people. And I'm gonna run the MOS. I'm hoping to. I haven't, like I said, I have to sit down and put together this tournament schedule and everything with Winning TD, and I'm hoping to get to 14 million, where we were at like 6.7. But I don't know if I can fit all that in there, but I'd like to. And what else do I got? I think I'll tell you what. I think it's great, because for the first time, people are noticing us, not for being online poker, not for being gray market, not for being anything else, but for being an incredible agile company, right? And for those of you who don't know, what agile is basically you learn to break down projects into much smaller projects, deliver product early and often, depending on what you do for a living is what you deliver, and basically empowering the teams to be accountable to each other, right? And it's for those of you who've been with us for a while, we have essentially the same software that we've had for 4 years, right? We have the same, it's me, right? We have the same, almost everything. The only thing that we ever really changed was how we run the company and turned it into an agile business, and went from number 44 in the world to, you know, always top 10 up to, I think, number 4 or 5 is the big top we made it. And I'll tell you what, gosh, I wish I had I've got a big counter in the office. Actually, I won't show you the counter. It's counting down to a certain number of days for us to be number 2 in the world, right? It's my prediction. It's for us in the office. I don't want to show it to my competitors because obviously my competitors will use absolutely everything against me, including the internet. I don't know, but I really am frustrated. I really am. You know, I think free market and fair competition, right? It's great. It's what makes a better product. It's what make that competition is what drives everybody to have better service or a better product or whatever else. But this is just, I mean, it's just bull, right? It's just freaking crap, right? So anybody, you know, it's you know, we work with a lot of the different forums out there. It's a lot of different Facebook groups and everything. If somebody wants to, I'm definitely, I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'm definitely going to put out, you know, information leading to somebody who has the last, who's behind the last DDoS attacks, right? Because I would love to just, well, I wouldn't love to, but I think it'll get them to stop, right? Anybody who wants to host that and say, okay, submit it here, we'll look at it, and if it looks like to be legit, we'll get it over, because I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours, man hours on our end, right? I want to keep bringing you good poker, right? I don't want to, you know, chase some vendetta or whatever. Just follow our social, and they'll put out some more information on that. What news does he have? I don't know what news. Here I am. There I am. I'm reading the sketch chat again. Let's see. Congrats, Pelican. Okay. Wait, you know what? I haven't actually banned anybody, right? So we're going to go ahead and take you. It was lucky because that was not very nice, and we're just going to give you a timeout, right? Next time it's bye-bye, right? Yeah, we'll post details on 2+2 on our Twitter, and follow up with that. And again, I don't want to, don't go out and accuse anybody of doing whatever, because that's not good for anybody, right? It's all it's anyway. Any chance doing the playpen any other day besides Friday? Winning TD is generally in 2+2. Go ahead and post in there to him. He takes, you know, a chance to, he takes that to do in there, right? It's, well, you know, I'm gonna let them read the chat and pull up some of the questions, right? Mobile client next week, right? We'll have the link, and you can start playing jackpots at 2.0 and start giving us feedback. It will be, and then starting the, is it 26th is when the new series is, we're gonna 27th, September 27th to the 22nd is when the new series, when we're going to redo the series, and it's going to be even bigger. WPN 2.0, about 2 weeks, right? Is going to be is where we're at, and it's come up with. I always thought for Marvin Maverick Dog, right? It's playpen. They made me say playpen because I wanted to call it a baby cage, right? Which is essentially a playpen, but they said putting a baby in a cage would be bad, right? So they wouldn't do it. Huh? 24th to the 22nd. Watch our website for details. Go to America's Cardroom and subscribe to push notifications, and we'll send out stuff like that to you. You spent over $30,000 on this site for 3 months. I'm a Pelican. Really thanks you, I'm sure, right? He won the million. I'm gonna step out and get some work done. I'll be back in about, let's call it 45 minutes at the half, and I'll do this one more time for anybody who actually missed it. All right, thanks, and I'll post your questions in here. We'll be looking at them, and I'll try to answer some of your questions. Thanks.